Way. No surprise there. If you call super weak, Bjergsen went fantastically well on Fizz, and Fizz honestly has rose to power in Europe. A lot of European teams have been using him. Lee Sin taken away from Diamond Procs, no shocks there. Ari, focus bans. Bjergsen's clearly the focus. We talked about him in the featured matchup. He's the man that they have to focus on in these bans.
You always focus him out, as they do all 3 bans right up Bjergsen. And there's an interesting thing that I found amongst these teams, is Diamond's most played jungle was actually Jarvan this split, which when you think of Diamond, you think of Lee Sin, you think of
Evelyn.
Eve even, you don't think of Jarvan. Likewise, Maluno had 10 Jarvan games, which was even more. And I actually wonder if that now becomes the most contested pick amongst these guys. Obviously not with Thresh, who, by the way, was Voidal's 8 games on him. And he's actually only ever won with 2 different champions, so they better get Thresh.
They better make sure they get Thresh. It does mean that Zac is available, and as you mentioned, I'm pretty sure you're going to see Jarvan locked in here for Maluno. I'd be amazed if
that's a great combo too.
Yeah.
Zac and Jarvan just work so well together, and it will also give Meimer some success. Obviously, Meimer hasn't had the most amazing games. His best champion actually is Shen, who they had to ban away from Darien because Gambit will always first pick it. Zac seems like a safe fallback for him.
He actually plays a lot of Evelyn in solo kill top lane as well, which is something they've never really allowed him to get through yet. We'll see how it works. Rise didn't work out 100% successful. He did have a couple of wins on it, but Misfortune, interested, could be taking that away from Genja.
Yeah, that would be a pretty smart thing for them to do. Even though Freeze has pretty much all of his games on Caitlyn, AD carries pride themselves on being able to play pretty much as many as possible. And it's mainly picking this to just take it away from Genja, because Genja had gotten very comfortable on Misfortune. And this is what a lot of teams are trying to do, just to throw him off.
Well, we just saw Kraton in game 1 having a fantastic match on Misfortune, instantly calling bans for the next 2 games running after that. So they made sure this time it is going to be, like you say, Freeze, who will be with him. Is Alex really going to go for Orianna this early on? Yes, he is.
Wow.
He really wanted that champion. I think he knew, obviously, that's what one of the champions, Bjergsen, would go for. If Cogmore comes out, that would be a big change around.
That would be very old school if they end up going with the Kog'Maw. The Orianna pick as well is a generalist pick for Alex in another one of these mid lane matchups where both of these guys play everything. Bjergsen and Alex, 15 unique champions in this split, which is just absolutely absurd. And Orianna, of all of them, is the generalist, but they do go for Kog.
He did have an incredible Orianna game in Moscow, if I recall, against Alternate, but effectively was Aranea. Aranea was on him all the time with Lee Sin, but he was just unkillable. But Cogmore's a champion we have not seen for a number of weeks as an AD carry.
And I wonder if they're picking this in response to the Misfortune almost, thinking that he's going to be able to outrange her very substantially in the late game teamfights. But it's not because NIP doesn't have strong diving potential. Think about just going at him with Zac and Jarvan is dangerous in itself. They're basically just picking that because they want to have huge amounts of damage coming up. Think back to the old Gambit days. You run triple threat with Kog'Maw. So Darien might want to pick a high thing, or like they have a threat from the jungle as well, so there you go.
Yeah, so Diamond going to be that aggressive Evelyn. We'll see if it works out for him. It's actually, Evelyn always seems to be one that's hit and miss champions. It's either going to be really big impact on the game or just be a complete flop.
Yeah, especially the way Diamond's been playing it. He actually hasn't had much success with it this split. And that makes the threat thing just kind of go through the roof.
It's a lot of threat.
Everyone's going to be going in. This is the Gambit way of protecting the Kog'Maw, is you just create so many distractions that you hope people forget about it.
So looks like Gambit going for that chaotic game. Meanwhile, Talon being pulled out by Bjergsen. Wow. If I recall back, it was Nuke that actually played Talon in the LCS European around about 2 weeks ago, and he had a massive game.
Talon is really good, especially with what is now an AoE composition. He's basically like a suicide bomber sometimes. He'll just go in, blow his ultimate twice, everyone else on the team is down.
Not sure that's a politically correct term, but we'll stick with it. It seems to work well. And well, against Orianna, definitely would work very well. Of course, he's going to be diving up, but more importantly, against the Kog'Maw, he could absolutely explode him.
Yeah. You're one to call me for saying politically incorrect things on air. Really?
Yeah, I know. No need to highlight that. I've had a few moments of my own. But here we go, ladies and gentlemen. If you just joined us, it is the European playoffs, of course. We had that crazy Super Week just, well, 5 days ago here in Cologne. Oh, it was a long day, Jack. It was a long day. It was 12 matches, six ways tie off effectively. Alternate, of course, they beat SK Gaming and forced SK Gaming into the relegation battle. Well, Alternate are now in that position. They're going to have to play the loser of this match, while the winner of this match, of course, will be facing off against Lemon Dogs, who are top of the league. So it's a big, big ask for both teams, but it is all about a place in Season 4, because the winner of this game will be in Season 4, guaranteed.
These guys have quite an act to follow as well. We just went all 3 games, EG versus Alternate, with the 3rd game being the closest of all. And Gambit honestly has just as much expectation, if not more, than EG of making it into Worlds. Because if we think back to the Season 2 World Championship, every team had their eyes set on beating Gambit because they were the world dominators last season. And now, if they don't win this set, they don't even get to go again.
Well, I can tell you, Alex was very emotional after losing that first game against Evil Geniuses that forced them in towards the lower seeding. They couldn't get that second buy, of course, position against Fnatic. Evil Geniuses had that, and they lost it. That was what Gambit wanted. They wanted that guaranteed seeding into the semi-finals. Instead, they're going to have to go the long way. Ninjas in Pyjamas, well, they realize they are the underdogs coming into this game. They've had discussions with fans around the ground, and they were like, yeah, I hope you play well, but, you know, unlucky, son. That was Bjergsen actually telling me that. He was like, yeah, clearly there's a lot of Gambit fans here, so.
Just a couple.
We'll see how this works out. So, level 1 shenanigans, nothing looking like it's going to be completely crazy. Looks like Ninjas in Pyjamas want to get that ward down, but we do see Alexic in defensive position.
Yeah, and this seems a lot more aggressive than we saw in any of the level 1s in the EG versus Alternate games. But also a fairly aggressive hold there by Alex, just making sure they don't get deep positioning of their wards into the red buff. Alex knows exactly where that first ward is, and he also knows NIP didn't get any extras.
So it looks like Voidal's going to get in there and get some wards down. Do see actually, went for the single ward. They haven't got very deep wards at all, so they're not going to have good coverage of Ninjas in Pyjamas. And at the moment, we do have that pause, of course, which means we're waiting for the players. It's generally the start of the games. We are looking at Diamond. Looks like Darian's the one with the pause. He's talking to the referee at the moment. You can see he's got his options open, so I guess he's thinking, I didn't get my key bindings right.
Well, I hope he did, because they had plenty of time to set up, and you were actually not allowed to pause for having key bindings wrong. You have to set that on your own time. There was a slight delay during the EG game as well, but that was also able to sort out. Hopefully this is a quick one as well.
Well, I like the fact that there is 4 referees stood behind them.
They all got to
the
see
response time is strong. They are very much aware. He looks like he's happy. The Lizard Man, Darian, by the way, if you've not seen that video from Diamond, it was from DreamHack, actually, week 1 that Gambit themselves released. It's quite funny. You gotta watch it. It's the facial expressions that gamers make.
Okay.
Darian, keep your eyes on that player cam. You guys here in the audience can see the player cams all the time, so you just keep an eye on his tongue. He is the Lizard Man during gaming. The focus face, I believe it is, that gamers tend to have. But we are live once again. So 2 minutes coming up, and obviously looks like it's going to be no invades, no late delayed invades either.
So standard lanes coming out. Also, it looks like we're going to be seeing 2v2 in the bottom lane, which could be very dangerous for Genja and Voidal. I know they have said they've made a lot of strides recently, but unless Voidal gets some very clutch death sentences out, they're going to lose a lot of trades.
So let's see how this aggression works out. Like you say, Voidal's got to wear on some of those hits. And Genja, the only escape he's going to have is that singular flash, and there is so much to lock him down. Maluno, of course, could come dumping in on his head. Mima could be bouncing on him. Deficio could land those grasping roots. And there's so much that could just catch him out. And there's good harass coming out from Deficio here, actually, onto Genja as well.
Yeah, that lane is going to be a very tricky thing, but I want to see how this mid lane goes as well between Alex and Bjergsen's talent. We have not seen that much talent, and it is not necessarily a good laner early. Bjergsen really needs to pick his spots against Alex's Orianna, who has amazing early harass.
And Alex, of course, starting out with that cloth, making sure cloth armor, so making sure he's going to be strong against him. Diamond Prox is waiting in the wings in this bottom lane, and there's actually no ward coverage, so he has got himself in towards that push early. Freezing Deficio. Are they going to sell this one? Sticking fairly tight on that lane. I don't think they want to go too deep. Sure enough, they throw that plant down. They didn't get vision of Diamond. He's going to sneak himself across. Has that stealth lasted long enough again to get that bush? It looks like it has.
Oh, he doesn't want to go too far. He's spotted.
He's spotted, and Deficio is going to immediately back away from this one. Tries to put the haze spikes on Freeze, and Freeze just backs off, no problem.
And that's a lot of time invested for Diamond with no reward. Was not even able to leech that much experience during all that, and getting ahead on Eve is incredibly important for him, because we said it's a hit or miss champion for him, and now it's Maluna's time to gank.
There was an early back here from Darian. He went back, got himself that regrowth pendant and a couple of wards, and you can see he's warded out that tri-bush, so making sure he's safe in the top lane. Meanwhile, in this mid lane, Maluna coming looking, getting the knock up on Alex Sitch, not getting any support from Bjergsen, and Alex Sitch turns aggressive on this one, puts that ignite down, he's smelling that double buff.
Well, that's one way to deal with the gank. Just start hitting him and realize you pushed Bjergsen back so far in that lane that he can't go through and support, particularly the size of the minion wave there gave Alex each absolute confidence that he'd be able to deal with that gank. And that lane is not going to turn at all towards Bjergsen until he gets at least level 6.
So let's look at this top lane, since we are seeing Diamond heading that way. Mima versus Darian, Aatrox versus Zac. It's not a standard lane, but Aatrox definitely is starting to make a popular term, certainly in the European scene anyway, that's for sure, the top lane and the jungle.
That top lane for Darian is just surviving for now against Zac, and Diamond has spent so much time roaming around and not farming. He's really putting himself in a hole if he doesn't get anything going here on Eve.
Keep our eye on whether he manages to get it, of course. Speaking of Maluna, he is heading in towards the bottom lane. He's going to be able to sneak in towards that bushes without being spotted. He's got a blue buff still on him at the moment. You can see whether he can get on towards Voidal or Genja. There is a singular ward. There's no ward placements whatsoever from Gambit down this bottom lane.
Yeah, this bottom lane ward placement for Gambit is just worn out. They had pinks early, but they got counter pinks.
So catch on to Voidal, forces the flash away from Voidal there. Freeze taking a lot of damage from Genja in straight trade.
Not much doing there, even though they had Maluna go down, and even though they had the wards out, it just wasn't smooth enough for their gank back against Gambit.
So the real battle right now is actually in terms of creep score, CS, between the two. Alex Sitch, he's got a 10 CS lead over Bjergsen, and Genja's actually got a 10 CS lead over Freeze, something you don't see too often.
No, really not. That's a very impressive performance so far by Genja and Voidal, but the gank returns yet again.
Oh, Genja's going to try and get away from this one. He's going to have to flash him. He doesn't want to use it. He left it till the last minute there. Knew that Diamond was coming in, but that's put Voidal in position. He hasn't got flash. That's going to be first blood. Freeze taken low, but it doesn't matter. Deficio gets the kill.
And support first blood, not the best, but still going to be worth it. They got the first gank, they got the flash down from Voidal, and then the second gank is the one that nets them the kill.
And Genja, of course, that flash down for him. I wouldn't be surprised to see Maluna paying a second visit down here. Bjergsen taking some damage from Alex in that mid lane, still 10 CS behind. Darian trying to put them pressure on towards Mima. Mima being forced against the tower now, and actually, Darian is starting to develop a bit of a lead in that lane.
Yeah, Darian's doing all right. I wouldn't necessarily call it a lead, 42-40, when the wave is pushing up against Mima as well. Those two Dorn shields right now, especially with how both of these guys sustain like crazy, not much I don't think is going to happen in that lane unless they go really all in against each other or they get some kind of jungle game.
So Seeker's arm guard for Alex Sitch, building in towards the fact that he is against the Talon, of course, in lane. Meanwhile, Bjergsen himself is about to back and buy. We'll see what he comes out with. Straight brutalizer. Yeah,
he wants full damage on Talon, especially with Black Cleaver, because of the way Bjergsen can just go in on Talon, blow all of his cooldowns almost immediately. He can shred close to a whole team, which will work amazingly with Freeze if he rushes a Bloodthirster and a Last Whisper to just combo down a team inside a Cataclysm.
So the triple Doran's Blade from Genja, as always.
Old reliable.
Yeah.
Goes back to Kog'Maw, always goes for triple Dorans. You know, he was already winning the lane a little bit against Freeze, and he's just trying to cement his advantage right now, getting those quick triple Dorans.
But how does that stack up against the double Dorans and a Vampiric Scepter, which of course Freeze went back and got? Surely Freeze is going to be way ahead in terms of builds now.
Yeah, surprisingly, at the very start of the game, Doran's Blades aren't that much worse than Lifesteal, because Doran's Blades give him the life on hit, and Lifesteal's based off your pull.
Shockwave on Bjergsen. He's going to go stealth without ultimate. Is it going to be enough to help him get away? Yes, it will be. Alex Sitch himself without blue buff going aggressive. Bjergsen is going to get the blue buff from Maluna, but he is low. He's lucky that Diamond isn't around there.
Pretty good early aggression there by Alex, but only being 10 minion kills up on Bjergsen and then also not being able to combo him up isn't the best for them at this point in the game. I actually feel like Bjergsen is winning that lane in a sense of only being down 18 minion kills without dying yet.
So the red buff pops up and Diamond's going to be on that one. Let's see whether he goes looking for those ganks, because as yet he has been fairly unsuccessful with creating any opportunities. Cataclysm from Maluna jumping on towards Voidal. Voidal has no flash, but he's managed to tank this one up very well, because Freeze, he was being put off by Genja and he was keeping him under situation. Diamond is creeping in there.
Yeah, Genja's aggression there is absolutely what saved Voidal defensively, and Diamond's not going to be able to sneak far because there is a pink ward as far forward in that lane as possible while still being in the bush, which is letting NIP push up pretty aggressive.
So that aggression in the mid lane is giving Alex Ich a bit of an advantage, but you can see the defensive ball comes out. He hasn't got Shockwave, remember, he used it a moment ago. Bjergsen will pick up the kill on Alex Ich.
That's what Bjergsen was waiting for. That's why I was saying he was winning the lane, even though he was down 20 minion kills, because when he goes in on Alex, he can go in on Alex, and that was very impressive there by Bjergsen, finding his spot.
The lack of Shockwave may have given him that time. He knew he had that limited window while the cooldown was down, that he'd already blown it on him, and that may well push him ahead in that lead. He's going to go back himself, pick up probably, no, he's not going to both up with boots, going straight pickaxe and a pink ward, got to defend against Diamond.
So if he's going for the pickaxe, that almost tells me he's going to try to rush a last whisper as quickly as possible, and he doesn't care about, right now, the Black Cleaver shred for the overall team. Definitely going for individual domination now, maybe team help later.
Darien out heavily up lane there, and he's going to get caught out. Double knock up Darkflight. Oh, Darkflight gets interrupted nicely by Let's Bounce. That's surely Darien going to go down. Who will pick up the kill? It is going to be the Bloodwell being used. Who will they give it across to Mimer, or will Maluna decide to take this one? It is going to be Maluna that secures it. I don't think they really cared who was going to pick that up in the end, but they needed to secure it.
Yeah, as long as Darien didn't get away, and that kill was completely secured by Mimer's timing on Let's Bounce to stop the escape from Darien. And we knew that lane was going to be pretty farm heavy. Let's take one more look at this gank. Darien just trying to jump. You're not going anywhere, buddy.
Yeah, Dark Path completely interrupted there by Let's Bounce. I'm not sure whether he actually timed it for that, whether he just happened to do Let's Bounce. Give him the benefit of the doubt.
It's always nice to give the player credit for things like that. As Diamond looks to go in behind this turret, he's got to do this quickly because Maluno has this right ready to come in for a counter gank. They could just collide.
NIP actually already pinged it, so I think they realized that he was around there. We do see the hook on towards Freezer, and again, successfully defended. I think Ninja Pyjamas simply ready for that one.
Diamond really hasn't been able to get involved in this game. He spent so long at level 3, running bottom, mid, and top without farming for multiple minutes, and didn't get anything out of it. Now he's trying to farm a little bit of it back, but he's definitely not on the pace of a carry jungle Eve that he wants to be.
Mimer putting pressure and continuing to keep it on Darien, trying to get that Sunfire Cape built up quickly. Darien going for a different build here. Normally, he does rush that Bloodthirster, but it doesn't seem he's going to go that way this time. He goes for that pickaxe on the way back.
Might be going for... I'm not sure entirely what he's going for. Tiamat, maybe? Or Ravenous Hydra.
They're going to dive on Diamond. Look at the pressure coming out there. Shockwave Yuzo pulls in Maluna. They're going to turn this one back around. The Ignite's on him. It will be Alex Ich that picks up the kill. Bjergsen with his combo use has to back off.
That was quite a turnaround there by Alex Ich, since they didn't even have the Eve ultimate from earlier. Able to come out of that under 1 for 0 is actually an incredible thing to try to keep them in this game, because they were falling a bit behind on kills.
We see the hook, the flay, the box goes down. Stranglethorns will come out, and you see Bullet Time keeping him at bay. Genja taking the full wave of Bullet Time there from Freeze.
So that hook almost was the doom of Voidal. Genja had to just maneuver as both the giant AoEs came down from NIP's bot lane. That's a very scary battle down there as they're really close to CS.
Yeah, good double up there as well, and Genja put the full force in their face, but he will continue to keep that farm going. He had built up an advantage early on, like you mentioned, but he's let it slip away a bit here. Darien back in towards that top lane. He's getting himself a second regrowth bead, so not really sure which way he's going with his build at the moment. He's going to split across 3 different items.
Yeah, I think he's going for that Tiamat or the Ravenous Hydra later, just because he needs enough damage to cut through Zac. Otherwise, it would just be a giant sustained battle, and that's not really the way Darien wants to play right now. Yeah,
it would be a different build certainly from him. See how it works, of course. We were watching Wicked played it during Super Weird Aatrox. It's actually Wicked's favourite champion now.
Yeah.
It's past Aurelia. Aatrox is now his favourite champion, which is no surprise to
That's
see
news.
Araneo that was picking away from him, so he's taking it off him. So just giving hints out to anyone else that's going to be playing against Team of Geniuses. But I think everybody know that because he's been playing it non-stop on his solo queue.
Looks like NIP, they're seeming to be in a pretty good position right here because Diamond hasn't taken over too much with Eve so far. Darian is going mostly Glass Cannon Aatrox, which may be going to work out near the end. But if they have so many people going damage early on for Gambit, Bjergsen going in at the same time as Freeze's bullet time might just be enough to wipe Gambit off the map. And I wouldn't actually be surprised if NIP goes for a dragon fight fairly soon.
Yeah, I believe if Diamond or Genja officially get locked up in one of those cataclysms, bullet time follows it. Can't imagine they're going to survive too much after that. Just the combo they're going to be looking towards. As it is this mid lane, the pairing of Alex Ich versus Bjergsen there. Both have a killer piece right now. Darian actually putting some good damage down on lane and started to make Mima think twice. He has still got their CS lead, Mima, which is something we haven't seen for a great deal of. I'm trying to think back across the many games we've had. He hasn't really caught on towards him, but it's going to be Freeze. Oh, it's a great lockup from Show. Stranglethorns completely keeps him at bay.
Burns the flash though, so Diamond should be back after that one. Also, Voidal's going to have flash and the box the next time they want to go in. So this is now a dangerous thing for NIP to do. They've lived in this lane on Gambit's side. Maybe they're going to get pushed back now.
Wards actually stacked in that river as well. I guess one of them is about to run out. There is definitely two of them there. No, look at that. Oh, that's terrible.
Whoops.
Whoops, indeed. That's a lot of gold to waste.
Yeah. That's not going to be good for them.
It's early on, that could well be a problem. We do have three members back in that bottom lane. The top lane, Darian and Mima continue to rub up on each other. Diamond trying his best to take down or get in, just create anything right now, because all he's actually got the assist, ironically, on the Maluna kill when he was just completely caught out.
Now Maluno's also trying to make a bit of action. We talked about Diamond not doing too much thus far, but Maluno, aside from that one kill he got on Darian, has been fairly ineffectual. Still just kind of showing his face. He's now about a level and a half behind Diamond, just hitting level 9 for Maluno. He's got to become fairly tanky on Jarvan if he wants to be able to buddy in with Zac later on.
Ping's going down, that is Bjergsen heading south. He is going to pass the ward in the tri-bush. Instead, he might go face to face with Alex Ich. Alex Ich is like, nope. Throwing that attack ball out, getting full vision of this crazy assassin in the mid lane. Genja, though, just trying to put pressure on towards Freeze. Freeze sidestepping that death sentence.
This lane is still starting to turn a little bit for Genja, even though they had given up that one death towards Voidal earlier. The farm he's been able to create after going that triple door and start could really benefit them in the late game.
Ultimate engage on Alex Ich in that mid lane, but he just steps away. He spotted that Diamond was coming up there with that ping ward. That bought him time now. Diamond heading back down south. They know he's there. Maluna's heading him off.
Yeah, it looks like Maluna, I don't think Diamond's going to be able to go in for that one. Maluna spent a lot of time just mimicking Diamond throughout the map.
Well, that is the top lane turret we saw. Of course, that massacre being used to take turrets down by Wicked just in the Super Week. And with that Hydra on, Darian doing a great bit of work in that top lane, keeping Mima well off that turret and just taking the turret down so fast. First turret of the game.
Yeah, it seems like he's just been able to outshove thanks to the Tiamat build, and Mima just hasn't been able to keep pace despite getting a lot of attention from Maluno. Darian doing work on that Aatrox.
So the back lane, bottom lane, sorry, are backing off. BF Sword was already picked up by Genja. I guess he's going to go for that Vampiric Scepter now, or will he go for the boots? Of course, he hasn't got any boots.
Yeah, Berserker Grease.
Berserker Grease required. He wasn't very mobile on Fogmore. That's almost certainly a requirement. Let's have a look across the items. Which way are they stacking? Alex Ich has been back. He's got himself that tier as well on there. So I don't know how long he's been stacking that one out. Source boots as well as those Seeker's Arm Guards he bought really early on. Seeker's Arm Guards also picked up by Diamond Prox as well on the jungle Evelyn. Meanwhile, of course, that last bit was completed by Bjergsen some time ago. Sunfire Cape being picked up by Mima a while ago as well. Looks like the Bloodthirster will be the final item as well, being picked up by Freeze in the next back. He's just back off. Got himself a forward pot, actually.
Yeah, Bjergsen's going to be incredibly potent right now, since he's at pretty much maximum penetration for him right now with all the percent plus the flag coming out from the Brutalizer. And I don't think Alex can really match him at this juncture in the game. Likewise, the items on the 80 carries definitely go for Freeze.
Flash being burned out by Alex there as Mima uses the elastic slingshot to try and catch on towards him. forces him back, and that's going to start off the Dragon, I believe.
Yeah, especially with Darien just going back to base right now. We thought that NIP would kind of force a Dragon when Bjergsen was level 11, but he's all the way to level 14 right now. So this is a very late Dragon for him to get, and a difficult contest if Gambit wanted to stop him.
And that was Maluna using his smite. Diamond didn't get close enough, didn't go for that, and they didn't even try and create any advantages in that mid lane either. They could just sort of split around the sides and just couldn't decide what to do.
Gold also just evening out because of that one. I mean, obviously Gambit just didn't have the opportunity to go in for that Dragon at that moment because obviously Darien was back beforehand, couldn't get 5 people there to fight.
201 CS being picked up by Alex H now, 18 minutes 46 into this game, and putting pressure, continuing to keep that farm on Bjergsen. Bjergsen doing a pretty damn good job of keeping up with him though, 172 on Talon. Talon the champion we've seen once in the European LCS, and I don't think we saw it at all in North America.
No, it was not played this split in North America whatsoever. It's a risky pick that comes out for him, but occasionally it can work. Talon's great.
This is Mima in trouble here. Let's bounce being used. Bloodwell is available for Darien. He's going to turn, get the blood price down on towards Mima. He's going to have the damage to slow him down, and Mima realizes he's in trouble. That passive will be popped.
He doesn't have time.
He's just going to try and clear this one up, but no. Maluna comes in. The passive will come back from Darien. He gets back in there. Will he be able to get the kill? Yes, he will. He's going to try and get out of this one, though. Cataclysm will lock him down. He has got Dark Path available in a couple of moments, which is why he's trying to buy time to get away from it. Dark Path's the opposite direction. Realizes he wasn't going to get away from Bjergsen.
Yeah, but that was Darien versus the world, and it gives the rest of Gambit so much time to go elsewhere. He's smiling and shaking his head after that one because he realizes how strong what he did just was for the overall team strategy of Gambit.
And 4 members of Gambit, they're collapsing in towards this bottom lane. There's the ultimate from Diamond. You see Stranglethorns used in defensive formation. Alex Itch coming around the side. They don't quite have enough to push through. They're going to get themselves a 3rd turret of the game in the bottom lane, though.
They were still able to get the mid turret as well as the bottom turret, basically thanks to what Darien created up in the top lane.
So big plays coming out, and Gambit turning the game on its head just like that. 2,000 gold ahead. They are putting pressure on towards the first inner turret of the game. Gambit not hanging around here. Once they start getting that advantage, they do tend to punish. The blue buff is it going to be up? Are they going to go towards it? I don't think it's available. They are just going to back off.
Yeah, but a job well done when they decided to back off there as well. Darien's still actually just going into Tabby and help. He doesn't care about the magic damage Mima is throwing back at him. He just has so much confidence in that 1v1 matchup, and he's instead itemizing for the rest of the team because he knows he's going to have to be in the fray for those team fights against Bjergsen and Freeze, who have almost completed their big combo there. Black Cleaver finished for Bjergsen, which means the bullet time from Freeze is going to hurt an extra bit.
He's definitely going to put some damage down, and Darien without passive this time. Bjergsen go and pick at him. Darien tries to use that Dark Flight, but Bjergsen is going to have his gap closer back available in a moment. No, good slow, and Darien flashes away.
Pretty much the only way he could have guaranteed escape against Bjergsen there is by using the slow right before the flash. Still a good force there by Bjergsen, and this is Bjergsen trying to carry a little bit. All the roaming he's doing is because he's trying to help out the rest of the team, but that's leaving Alex free to farm in that mid lane. 146 CS on Orianna, only 21 minutes in.
Top turret goes down. First one of the game for Ninjas in Pyjamas there. First time that Bjergsen, who I believe will be split pushing pretty much for the rest of this game, is going to cause problems, because who is going to be able to deal with him to go and just go 1v1 him?
They're hoping that it's Darien. Darien just needs to get a few more items. You can see how he just built that cloth armor right afterwards, after he nearly got jeweled down by Bjergsen. And Darien also didn't have, I believe he didn't have his ultimate that last time they thought about it. This could be round 2. Let's see how he deals.
Face check straight away from Darien. This time he does walk away from that one. Bjergsen chooses not to finish that.
I don't know if he actually could have. He used his entire burst, and Darien has amazing turnaround potential with Aatrox. I think he recognized that he didn't quite burst him out. That wasn't a fight he was necessarily winning straight away.
Just recognizing the position. Freeze is going to get himself a big chunk of farm in this bottom lane, while the rest of Gambit are sticking around their mid lane. Mima and the rest of NIP starting to try and create a focus on this mid turret, but Voidal's in there doing a defense. Genja himself is off farming, as he always is. And he is just taking down the bottom golems. He's shoved his bottom lane up enough that Deficio will have to help Freeze out on that bottom lane once again. Top lane though, look, it's Alex Eats, the farming master. He's heading towards 300 CS very quickly.
He's absolutely just going to as many free lanes as possible and farming up a storm. Meanwhile, the rest of his team is honestly in farm mode. Everyone on their team is out farming right now. Even though Genja had about 2,400 gold there, he didn't go for Infinity Edge. He actually went for Blade of the Ruin King instead. So that BF sword was really just for the early attack damage, it seems, on Kog'Maw. Now he's Blade of the Ruin King and looking very strong this point in the game on Kog'Maw.
Boots of Swiftness being picked up by Bjergsen as well. So he's going to be steaming around the map very quickly. +3 boots. What are Gambit doing? They are gathering. They put that ping ward down in the middle. Dragon is up in 43 seconds. They may well go for the blue invade.
And this could be the fight that decides a lot. It's been a very close game if they decide to go for it. If they don't go for the blue, at the very least they're going to go for the dragon soon after.
Didn't get the steal. Bjergsen managed to pick up that blue buff. Alex is just trying to create a situation. Top lane has been shoved in. Now Darien in towards this mid lane, who himself has actually got some pretty good farm on the go as well. So a number of champions, number of players, all hitting 200+ CS.
Yeah, this game just hasn't really started yet. They've had a bit of turret trading. Gambit took down the outer shell, but then they haven't been able to find ways to actually get within NIP. They're still scared a little bit, I think, of Bjergsen and Freeze. That combo is amazingly potent if they catch Gambit in the right spot, and they have the potential to, just because Maluno can put down Cataclysm very timely in any type of dragon fight. This is a dangerous place for Gambit to be.
Mima ready to go, does cancel out the elastic slingshot, puts that ping ward down. Darien going in there. Has that ball delivery system. If he uses that dark flight and dives on in, of course we got to realize how potent that shockwave could be on the Instant Pyjamas if it's used in the right position, which is why they have to be very careful at this entrance to the dragon.
This is exactly the type of fight NIP wants, though. I feel like Maluno's going to try to initiate at any point. The only thing Gambit has to do in return is get a good shockwave down. There's
the elastic slingshot. Let's bounce being used. It splits Gambit across there. Stranglethorn does manage to find his target, but it's a great shockwave. Deficio will go down. Bjergsen taking very low at the back. He gets dropped. Zhonya's Argos from Alexic has been burnt out. Maluno taken low. Mima getting in there. He gets dropped. Freeze tries to get in, tries to turn the damage down, but he gets dropped as well because Darien is very strong, and the passive goes down. It's a 4 for 2 to Gambit Gaming.
And Gambit spread out so well as that fight was just beginning. All the AoE from NIP could not be used in synergy, and now Gambit's going to pick up a dragon afterwards. Check this out. As soon as Mimir goes in, everyone splits up. And then Alex waits patiently to land his crescendo. Darien jumped right on Freeze, stopped the bullet time from comboing over all of them. Everything in that fight actually went in Gambit's way, and that's why they came out ahead, despite NIP being the ones who wanted the fight.
And the irony is that Boyd was one that landed that death sentence, went straight in there, put the box on, he kept Freeze way out the back, which is kind of where he wanted to be, but then he realized, hang on a minute, the rest of my team are dead, and now I've got to go in on my own. So bullet time not quite as successful as it needed to be. Great engage and disengage effectively from Gambit. So 6-6 in kills. It is a 3,000 gold advantage being built up by Gambit. That is, of course, in the form of all of those turrets they have picked up there. Genja returns to that lane. As you mentioned earlier, went for that Blade of the Rune King. He's going to be sitting on pretty much a stack of gold here because I don't believe he's been back after that fight right now. Yeah, 1,500 gold on him, so he's going to go back and buy himself probably the Bloodthirster.
It's actually the thing that you do to yourself when you build triple Thorin's Blade, is you starve yourself of slot efficiency, so the only time Genja can actually go back is when he's got about 2,000 gold because he needs to complete an item. I'd expect him to actually go Infinity Edge right after that one because that's the general path these guys do when they do Blade of the Rune King on things like Kog'Maw, and he's just kind of powering up. Even though he died in that fight, you kind of saw an example of how chaotic Gambit can make these team fights and how NIP might end up just forgetting about Kog'Maw.
Pressure back on that mid lane. Instant Pyjamas, they have the wave in there with the siege minion, but look at this off the side. Darien's going aggressive. He's put a lot of damage down towards Maluna. Alexic was idly waiting in the wind. Shockwave is available, and now the pull delivery on towards Darien. They're trying to speed him up. They're going to try and catch him up towards Mima. Mima has to elastic slingshot away.
NIP barely sliding away there. Didn't have to really burn any spells though, but it shows that Gambit is looking to fight and really trying to push NIP off of their territory. Gambit's going to take a little bit of the jungle here, keep farming up, and continue this pace that's gotten them the lead.
Alex's tier has turned into that Seraph's Embrace. Well, of course, his Archangel Staff rather than the tier itself. That'd be a big upgrade straight away, but it is going to be a lot of damage done on towards that inner turret. That's not going to survive another wave from Gambit. And the rest of NIP realizing that situation, they can't back away yet.
And Bjergsen actually goes for another Brutalizer. on top of his already black cleaver. He might turn that into a ghost blade, but he's very heavily going just for armor penetration instead of going for a huge amount of attack damage as he goes in and tries to just bomb the other team. NIP turning this one around a little bit because they recognize Genja when to split push off at the bottom lane because he wants to get that last bit of item for his Infinity Edge.
This is often the case though for Gambit. Genja will just trot off in lane, not realize the situation that he's in, and maybe putting the rest of his team in as well. And he does manage to force them away. As it is, Ninjas in Pyjamas, they've rotated around straight towards this top inner turret. Gambit are going to react though.
This could be a moment when we see a fight though, because now Gambit got the Infinity Edge. They're more confident here. I actually don't think Gambit gets a super clean initiation unless somehow Diamond can sneak around the back of the fight and then get comboed with Darien. For the most part, Gambit is actually waiting on NIP to dive into them, so then Gambit can reactively play the team fight.
Yeah, Gambit realizing that everybody backed away from that one. Blue buff has spawned, which is where Bjergsen is running towards, so he's going to pick that one up without any issues. Everybody else farming. Infinity Edge had been completed by Genja, so now he's got that big jump in power spike, so we'll see how much that works out in the next fight. Of course, let's have a look towards Darien. Darien's kind of been the playmaker right now. He's put himself that Warden's Mail frozen. Randy's Omen actually going to be coming out very soon. Meanwhile, Diamond, he went for that Seeker's Arms Guard a long time ago. Not going to be turning it into anything for a while, though.
No, absolutely not. I mean, you can see Gambit's just trying to stack up a fair bit of armor right now. Just because, even though Mimer does do magic damage, he's generally a tank. And there's not that much magic damage coming out from NIP. That's why NIP is going so heavy into the armor penetration right now, because they don't want to be as heavily countered by the armor that Gambit is accumulating. Having the Randwins finished on Darien is a very big problem for Freeze. As soon as Darien gets past the line, Freeze doesn't even have the build to actually do a 1v1. He's more about taking out the whole team altogether. I like the position Gambit is in the game right now, and NIP needs to make some type of aggressive move to kind of get Gambit out of this nice mode.
Gambit are rushing up that mid lane. They realize the Ninja Pyjamas are off to the left-hand side. That turret, remember, just needs about 1 or 2 hits. Gambit, though, realizing they're coming across the side. Are they going to engage in this one? Mimer's going to come in. Doesn't use Let's Bounce, just the elastic slingshot there. Voidal going deep. He puts the box down. Gets the good play, but he gets dropped very quickly. And then Gambit, they're going to try and disengage from this one, but Bjergsen comes rushing in. Bjergsen does get taken down, but he took Diamond Procs with him. There's going to be the shockwave whiffing out the side because he got taken down before he managed to do the damage. Darien in trouble. He's going to get dropped down. Bloodbow's going to go out. Deficio's going to back away from this one. Maluna tries to back away. Instead, he used the Dark Path to try and escape. The flash from Freeze, and it's the ace for Ninjas in Pyjamas. A 5-for-1.
And how close was that fight? Let's take a look at it right again immediately. It is just, how does this fight go so wrong? The bullet time doesn't even get interrupted, but watch the damage Bjergsen does to everyone by the end of that fight. He got both parts of his ultimate off and an extra rake at the end, which then allowed the rest of NIP to just pile on. And to top it all off, Alex never got off his shockwave because the fight was so spread.
There is the Baron for Ninjas in Pyjamas. They are leading against Gambit here in game 1. It's a best of 3, this quarterfinals, of course. It's for a place in the semi-finals tomorrow against the Lemon Dogs. They will be watching these matches with eager anticipation, but because, of course, Gambit are now under pressure.
How are they going to respond to that one? Because that was a disastrous fight for them. They were in such a strong position in this game. Think about the things that Gambit had going their way. Darien had complete shutdown onto Freeze. All the farm was accumulated. They had Zhonya's onto Alex. Diamond was really the only one who hadn't gotten involved. Their item thresholds were complete because of Infinity Edge. But Bjergsen, we talk about how much he has to carry this NIP team. And even though he died in that fight, he did so much damage to Gambit that it just allowed the rest of NIP to chase them down. That's not something Gambit can really risk happening. They need to find some way of shutting down Bjergsen before he can go in.
Boots of mobility, actually. Boots of swiftness. No, boots of mobility. I was right the first time around for Deficio, actually, after that fight. Dragon being concluded as well. That puts them in the gold lead. Just 200 gold, so still very close, because Gambit did very well in that lane phase.
Yeah, also that Locket of the Ancillary comes out for Maluno. Even though it's only really protecting him against the Orianna and Eve damage at this point, this game is just so tense. The gold completely evening out as well.
Now we see the Haunting guys being picked up and completed by Diamond, so who really has yet to get going. Despite the fact he's 2-1-4, he didn't have a very good opening phase, picking up the kills in the big team fights, just mopping up a little bit, as it were. Ninjas in Pyjamas there are making their way down towards the bottom. This is going to be the outer turret. Gambit not going to defend this one, not a chance to get down there against NIP.
No, especially not with this Baron buff on NIP. Right now, Gambit needs to get into a position where they aren't at risk of just getting dove on. I've seen so many teams lose games trying to defend this turret. Maybe Gambit feels something differently with this wave clear, but NIP has the potential to come around the back of Gambit, get onto Genja, and really make something happen. They decide not to go in.
Well, they are going to back off, play it safe. There's a Baron of opportunity effectively at the end of that, and it's going to have around about 70 seconds left on it by the looks of it. So NIP just making sure they secure every advantage they can, spend a lot of that gold, the hard-earned gold that they picked up there. You see the Kindle gem being stacked onto Deficio. He's going to continue. Look at that though, very early on. Bjergsen, Guardian Angel.
And that is huge. We could see he was building up to it with that chain vest and Negatron cloak up until now. And I actually don't know how much it's going to actually benefit him at this point, because he pretty much has the one big spell rotation from his ultimate, and when he comes back up alive, Talon has mediocre DPS at best. I actually think he may have been better served going even more glass cannon there.
We'll see how it works out for him. I think he's just trying to effectively make himself not the target, but the fact that he's going to be diving in to get amongst Gambit anyway almost certainly makes him that target. Darian keeping that wave clear going. NIP, remember, with this rest of his Baron, it's going to have about 20-30 seconds left on it. He's going to try and cause a little bit of a problem on Gambit here, try and pick up any opportunity they can, see if they can get anything off towards his turret instead. The wave clear from Gambit is very strong.
And once again, this is a very tense moment for both of these teams. There's only a little bit left on this Baron. 20 seconds or so right now. And Gambit, if they get a clean initiation, or if Alex can just find a shockwave, or if Diamond can flank around, it's big. Mimer has this last elastic slingshot, decides not to go in, and that means their Baron's going to expire. Yeah,
that's going to have about 10-12 second cooldown on that one because he cancelled it out. It means it's going to not be up in time before that Baron wears off. NIP will think twice. We already see Bjergsen, he's headed off. He's taking away the blue buff from Alex Ich.
Bjergsen's really starting to take control of this matchup. Despite the amazing farm of Alex Ich, it hasn't really came into any benefit in team fights. He's thinking about coming in to attack, but he's just baiting him out.
Darian getting a lot of damage actually on that turret. Bjergsen's going to be on his own. He's taking that turret down. Diamond's the only one there. He's going to try and get some damage back on towards him. His H-Spike's not doing a great deal to him just yet.
No, hasn't been able to push too much in that side lane. He's trying to turn himself into a bit of a split pusher, only so then Bjergsen can later collapse into team fights to make things happen.
And bottom lane has pushed itself up, which means NIP going to steal away that red buff. Freeze will probably head down there, clear that off. Ninja Pyjamas will back out. So how do we gauge it, Jack? We are looking at these two teams. It's 1,000 gold between them. The two team fights we've had have gone either way so far. Who has the big advantage?
That's way too close to call right now. If I knew who had the big advantage, then we wouldn't have to play the games.
In terms of teams right now, who has the advantage? Let's narrow it down.
I mean, what have we been talking about for the past 36 minutes right here? So Bjergsen wants to go in and just do as much damage as possible. Yes, he has the Guardian Angel completed at this point, but at the same time, Gambit is turtling very hard right now because they want more time for Genja. Alex is approaching 6 items despite not being in any teamfight kills, and they need to isolate enough so Darian can go and shut down Freeze himself. It's really just this stall back and forth before they really decide who's going to win the game at this point. It needs to be resolved with big teamfights.
Darian's becoming a walking tank right now. He's got that chain vest on him, along with that Ninja Tabby, and of course the Randy and Zoe he picked up himself earlier on. What else is he going to go with that one? Is that going to be a Sunfire kit that's going to follow, or...?
For Darian?
Yeah.
Do not know. He has 2 items. Don't necessarily help each other.
Yeah.
He's got to pick one, and then he'll go for it. He could really go any number of options. Thornmail would actually be decent for him because he has so much lifesteal, because he's running pretty much right at Freeze, but he does have a lot of options.
Well, look at Ninja Pyjamas, they're waiting just off the side. The Fishy wants to get his grasping roots on towards Darian. They're trying to keep him at bay. Slow comes out from Mimer. Bjergsen is taking away the red buff of his own jungle, so he's going to secure that one while Gambit continues to push in. Remember, that inner turret, it just needs a bit of a breath of fresh air and it will go down. So that's what Gambit are trying to get towards. Get themselves just a little bit of bonus gold, and he would turn it around, but they've got to be careful they don't go too deep, because that's the last exchange shot. Bullet time comes out. Diamond gets completely locked up. Hasn't gone down yet, though. The H-Spike shield is working out, but Genja, they just gets melted down there. They can see this shockwave pulls off. Pyjamas and Guardian Angels has been popped, but Alex is not going to be able to turn this one around. Darian and Voidal, the only two to survive and back off in this one. It was a 3-for-0 from NIP.
And the timing could not be more perfect for NIP if they wanted to go Baron, but because it's a 5-for-3, they can just continue to push in this mid lane. The start of that fight was so clean for NIP that the rest of it was just following up.
Everything goes down. That's going to be the inner turret. Can they get the inhibitor turret? That's what they want, and I think they have the time to make it as well. Darian will return to lane. He's sat waiting in the wings, and actually looks like he's been told, nope, get back to Fountain. You're not going to be able to fight for this one.
Especially because now NIP is just most likely going to run for a Baron off of the inhibitor, and there was a small chance that Gambit would have enough life to go back in. And let's just check out this team fight. Because the Zyra roots landed, it just comboed so much else. And check out Bjergsen once again. Closes the gap onto Genja and pretty much just takes him out. At the same time, because there was so much gap closed by NIP, Alex couldn't escape the fight, and he got trapped there as well. It was just an onslaught of attacks from NIP. The Gambit had no answer to repel.
Now that they have that Baron, it's going to give them a huge advantage. Ironically, the passive of Mima got popped, the Guardian Angel of the Bjergsen got popped. A lot of kills actually came in from Gambit, but because they defended, got the passives, everything was there ready and waiting, could have turned the fight towards Gambit's favor. It still shows that even with the perfect initiation from NIP, they have got a lot of damage there still.
Yeah, NIP had such a good initiation there, would kind of make up for anything else that happened in that fight. Gambit's in a struggle at this point, I feel like. They've given up 2 Barons in a row. Their inhibitor is completely down. And they haven't shown any type of proficiency in these team fights because Gambit hasn't shown an ability to get an initiation. And because of the incredibly strong initiation of NIP, it's just working out for NIP's big lead.
Gambit trying to wait and maybe try and create a gank. They may get it because Maluno and Deficio are both going to face check. No, they're not. They're ready and waiting for it. Instead, Mima's going to get caught out. A lot of damage on Mima. He has to get away. Stranglethorns comes out. Look at Darian. He's going deep on towards Deficio. He will have the damage to finish off this kill. Maluno's going to have to come in. Cataclysm to try and defend it. And he does hold out. Nicely done there. Slides away. And nothing picked up for Gambit.
And that caught NIP way off guard. Considering they had Baron, they did not expect to see everyone from Gambit there. And you could tell NIP used all their spells completely out of sync. Luckily, they were scattered enough and they ran away quick enough to not get punished too heavily for that outside of the turret.
Yeah, Gambit do get themselves the inner turret, but they couldn't go too deep because, of course, they've got those super minions in their base, which is why you can see NIP rushing down. They want to stop those backs. Nobody checked the tri-bush.
No, everyone in Gambit is picking their own route back, and it actually means Diamond gets back just in time. It's a good thing, too, because those super minions can do a lot of work if left unattended. NIP continues to push down bottom.
So it was a Guardian Angels for Darian. I mean, why did we doubt that? This is Gambit, ex-Moscow 5, the Guardian Angel team. And, well, Darian is now very tanky, and with that Guardian Angels will arise twice with the Blood Belt.
That's a nice thing for them, but considering the rest of their team can get burned out immediately, it might not be the most timely purchase. NIP, with the Baron buff now, has almost their ultimates up again. May look to go for something big fairly shortly, or they can safely just go around the horn, take the other outer turret down in the top lane, and go out about it that way.
Bjergsen not with the team, he's being kept off to the side there, so which is why Gambit were looking to try and do some damage, but instead NIP are as one. They will keep the pressure, the siege pressure on this bottom lane. Here comes the siege minion. Will they try and get in towards the tower? Will Mima launch himself in there? Doesn't look like it. The wave clear is still strong from Gambit. They seem a little unsure on this one. They want to try and get the super minions in this mid lane to try and create a situation, but Darian's doing a good job at keeping that wave clear.
Yeah, this is a very tense moment because NIP is essentially trying to flank around the side of Gambit and stop them from being able to defend this turret from the other 4 members of NIP. And based on the threat that Bjergsen has created the whole game, it might just work. Yeah,
Genja's had to go back and deal with those super minions, which is why you see NIP coming around the side there. Look at Bjergsen dying to get in and to create some situation. Grasping Roots do catch on towards Darien, but again, they force them away. Ninjas in Pyjamas, they're on up against the clock here. There is around about 40 seconds, 30 seconds left on that Baron buff. They're trying to get in there and cause a problem.
But Bjergsen might just be going even more so. Screw the flank anymore. If he can actually go for the Nexus turrets, that might be enough to suck Gambit back. This is the last wave that NIP is going to have with Baron. They're going to try to make something happen, I think.
And make no mistake, if he could get on Genji, he would kill him. There's no doubt about that one. But instead, Gambit have played this game many, many times, this tactical game of chess, defending the Nexus turrets, the inhibitor turrets, and keeping NIP at bay. That Baron about to wear out. Let's see if Gambit try and create something after.
Yeah, I mean, if NIP sticks around once their Baron is gone, there's also a chance that the inhibitor would respawn fairly shortly. There are still some big items coming out from Gambit. Despite NIP's control, it's a 6,000 gold game, and the Baron is gone.
Seems a little crazy, but Bjergsen is going to go in. He goes on towards Void. Let's Bounce comes across. Bullet time timed nicely there, but Bjergsen very, very low. It's Darien doing the damage. He's already popped his Guardian Angels, and Maluna's going to flash away from this one. Tower damage is back on towards him. Bjergsen doing work though in the back there. He will get taken down. Darien is absolutely melting the team. Genja at the swell at the back. He takes down Mima. Darien is going to have the Bloodwell passive pop there, but you can see Diamond, he got around. He managed to get Deficio. It's a 3 for 2 so far. Make that a 3 for 4. In fact, no. Maluna has managed to get away somehow and back to base. Defensive stop from Gambit there, and the inhibitor respawned. Why did NIP wait? Baron turned out, then they went aggressive.
The timing was all wrong for NIP. They went in and didn't combo their ultimates specifically right, and Genja was untouched. Unlike the fights that went so well for NIP and Bjergsen killed Genja, Bjergsen couldn't make it this time. The double revive came into full effect for Darien as well, GA and his passive, and it allows them to push NIP out of the base and save Gambit a bit more time for the game.
So, GAs, let's have a look at those, because Darien's was popped, his Bloodwell passive was also popped. We also saw Bjergsen's GA go down. Freeze now has himself a GA, so a lot of Guardian Angels across the board, but only one of them up available for the next fight. Baron was burnt as well, and the fact that now Gambit's inhibitor is back up, they are looking to push out the base.
Yeah, I feel like Gambit kind of bought themselves a second life there, because they were in a very dire situation as NIP was sieging that turret, and it was so surprising still, D-Man, that NIP decided to go in after the Baron was up. It wasn't like that was the moment that Genja was off defending a Nexus turret. They were all there. They were waiting for the fight. In fact, we thought Gambit might be the ones going in on NIP, and NIP kind of gave it to them there with a 3 for 2 fight.
And it was the Voidals. Voidal got caught in the Grasping Roots. It seemed to trigger it. Bjergsen just followed straight up, and the rest of the team was,
who cares? It's
go time, let's get in there. Let's have a look across the items. Anything really popping in to raise suspicion? Well, there is a Warmogs now on Darien, so he is going to be even stronger in the next fight. Those hit points stacking up strong.
Yeah, Genja is the thing that jumps out to me though, because he is full power offense, and it is incredibly critical, as if it hasn't already been critical enough this game, about whether Bjergsen can get on Genja. Bjergsen's actually bought blue flash boots right now, so he can actually get to Genja more frequently. And here comes the fight in mid anyway.
Oh, that's actually mistimed, and now Ninjas in Pyjamas in trouble. The shockwave lands from Alex Ich. Maluna taken very low. We've already seen Deficio going down. It's a double kill for Alex Ich. Make that another, because that's going to be Bjergsen getting dropped down now. Freeze does manage to pick himself up a kill. A second, he tries to slide in. Maluna trying to work, but look at that. The triple kill. He's going to get backfired. Darien in there. Guardian Angel goes back up. Genja ready and waiting. Drops the hammer on him, and that's just going to be another kill. It's an ace for Gambit Gaming. A 5 for 3.
What a turnaround for Gambit in that fight. Again, NIP engages out of the blue, it seems. Bjergsen was up on a tank while Jarvan decided to go in on Genja, and this just allowed a beautiful counter engage by Alex. There was no threat. Gambit was spread out. They could not get the AoE out on Gambit, and the scattered, chaotic Gambit team with tons of damage just took out all 5 members of NIP.
And that bullet time used very early on. Triple kill for Freezer. That's going to help. He's going to help himself. What's he going to get after that? What else can he get? Is he going to sell the GA maybe? Yeah,
I mean, I feel like he just completed the Phantom Dancer, so that like maxed out his items. But that's not necessarily a super potent build. This isn't a 6-item carry without an Infinity Edge. So his actual late game damage is nothing compared to what Genja is going to be outputting. And since Genja picked up so many kills in that fight as well, he's sitting on 1,700 gold. it's actually not the best time for him to farm up a little bit more, but if Genja could get that Guardian Angel and actually stop the ability of Bjergsen to close on him, or even the potential, it's not like Bjergsen's been doing it to him lately, but if Genja can stop the potential of that happening, it could be enough for Gambit to win this game, which is a ridiculous thought about 10 or 15 minutes ago when NIP was in complete control.
And this is the first time for Gambit that they have been in this situation. Of course, they've been caught out twice, lost the Baron twice because of that. Now they have it themselves. Let's see what they do with it, because they've been up against the wall here. 7-5 in turrets, 19-15 in kills, and NIP with all the advantages, even the gold advantage, is still in NIP's favor. And NIP actually are the ones that are pushing down. They want to clear out those wards, get in there, which is, why would you do this against a powered up team?
Confidence. I mean, they've gotten here before. They know there's an inhibitor that if Gambit leaves completely undefended, NIP would be able to take it and then kind of delay this Baron. When a team has Baron and they're down an inhibitor, they can't necessarily do anything with it. So NIP positioning themselves in this spot at least leaves that threat open. On top of that, Gambit doesn't have the strongest ability to actually initiate onto NIP, so I feel like they're just posturing with that.
Darian going for the Iron Locket as his final item. He really wants to be that brick wall of a tank. NIP though, they want to get towards this inhibitor. This is very, very tricky play. I mean, bearing in mind, I think it's only 2 members of Gambit with that Baron, but it is Darian and Genja.
Yeah, and this game is just getting so late that it's becoming scarier and scarier. Genja is really wanting to get that Guardian Angel. He's on 2,700 gold right now. He's so close. He's running back for it right now, and NIP wants to try to take advantage of this before that happens, because I almost feel like NIP thinks they're running out of time in this game.
He's got it. He's gone back. The Doran's Blade was sold. He's going to be running back to lane. You've got to be careful here, because Gambit, as soon as he returns, may actually try and engage on towards Ninjas in Pyjamas. We do see Alex Itch that attack dissonance on towards Mima. Mima taking a good 1,000 hit points off in there. Deficio off the side. He's dodging out, of course, from the ultimates from Genja. He's trying to knock him down. Bjergsen seems to be the one that's looking to aggress, though.
And it needs to be, because the fights that haven't went well are the ones where Bjergsen doesn't start it. NIP needs Gambit to be low for these fights, to almost give them the edge to power through with the rest of their team. But it almost seems like since we're 50 minutes in, it might be past their time. When they're pushed in this far, one fight could end it for NIP.
Yeah, that's going to cause the attack now, because Bjergsen got caught out, got a lot of poke down on towards him. Gambit just try and force him away, and Shirelia's Reverie has to be used by Deficio to make that escape, and NIP back off. So Gambit, it is in their hands now. Are they going to go aggressive? The blue buff actually up, and for once, Alex Itch could have that.
Yeah, it's about time for Alex right now. He's also at the 6-item build point, so the farmers on Gambit are really hitting their stride right now. And with all the almost slightly low gold items that NIP's been building on their carries, their 6-item builds just aren't going to be as strong when they hit those points. Gambit seems to have a bit of an edge back in this game.
Alex Itch with that blue buff on. First time in probably around about 30 minutes that he's had that blue buff, so cool down on the shockwave. He's going to pull that trigger a little bit more often. We haven't really talked about the farm. We're at 51 minutes and they're closing in on 500 CS, or certainly Alex is. He's actually managed to stretch that lead over Bjergsen, but really that doesn't matter right now. They both have incredibly huge builds. The second Brutalizer built up, by the way, by Bjergsen as well. We haven't noticed on that one with that Black
he's
Leader.
had that for a really
long time.
Yeah, he just hasn't been able to, he hasn't completed it, because getting the Ghost Blade at this point wouldn't do him too much good aside from a little bit of extra move speed. One interesting thing here is the junglers are comparatively incredibly low in farm, and Gambit could be setting a trap.
Bjergsen walks straight into it. Is he going to get slowed down? He can see it enough. Getting one more shot in there. Diamond will pop that Guardian Angels down. Now he's going to come back out of it. Void will go straight in, locks him up, but Bjergsen is going to get dropped instantly. Alex Itch picks up the kill. Maluna trying to get in that back line, but he hasn't got the damage to get in towards it. Diamond with a drive-by. Alex Itch picks up that kill. Darian continues to chase on there. Flashes in, gets the slow across the entire NIP. He's going to launch himself in. The rest of them, you see Diamond procs, he's trying to head around the side. Darian should be able to jump on towards Mima. Mima elastic slingshots away from the dark path, but Alex Itch comes in. The passive is popped, and that will be another kill. It's a 3-for-1 for Gambit.
And the death timers are so long right now for NIP, but Gambit does not have minions. They're trying to push on regardless.
They may well be able to just drive through, and there is a stat that Gambit, once they get on towards that inhibitor, they generally finish the game within 1 minute. I kid you not, in the summer split. Once they get that one inhibitor down, they smell blood. They will come rushing for those Nexus turrets. 25 seconds still on Bjergsen. He's going to be the only one they fear right now, and Gambit Gaming may just drive through.
Gambit Gaming is not going to finish this one immediately because there is no minions and Freeze does too much damage to them. Nonetheless, that was an amazing set of events for Gambit as they pushed up in this game. Getting that catch onto Bjergsen is exactly what they were waiting for. We know that if NIP loses him, they just don't have the ability to power through the rest of it. There's so much damage that's been built up by Genji at this point that he just destroys NIP if he's not immediately assassinated.
Absolutely. So Diamond will be clearing out that bottom wave of minions. And let's have a look across. Does anyone go for any items? Guardian Angels, of course. Freeze didn't get taken down still, by the way. 825. He's been avoiding the fights effectively, standing at that back. But GA of Darien is back up. The GA of Genji, of course, wasn't pumped. The GA on Alex Ich now is also in now. I believe did he just pick that one up, or has he had that one a while? I can't even remember.
There's a lot of lives in this game right now.
It's a lot of lives. It's not quite the 10 lives that Gambit had in the one fight back in ECC Poland, but instead, it doesn't matter. Baron is up in 14 seconds. That is surely the next focus target.
Actually, it is, because Zach and Aatrox would be the extra 2, and we'd have 10 lives, because both...
Yeah.
10. Well, there you go.
Thanks for that. But NIP, look at this. Yeah, you're not going to be able to sneaky here because Genji's just going to use that ulti. It's going to catch every push. Nobody's going to be safe. Bjergsen in this top lane. Darian's going to go aggressive on towards him, put the pressure down, and actually that forced the ultimate out of Bjergsen.
And that is the biggest thing that he needed to save for this next team fight. Gambit can now, I feel like, freely go in for inhibitor number 3 as both the other ones are already down and super minions are on their way.
On their way, he's already run back to base, trying to get himself topped back up here, but it's Gambit that are pushing on through. Baron spawned, the Gambit do not care. They are sticking off at the backside at the moment. NIP, they're back in position. They will defend this one out, it seems. Gambit not going to pull the trigger.
And honestly, they needed to pull the trigger right then because the ultimate's already back for Talon. It's only on a 36-second cooldown right now for Bjergsen. So unless they went on that one singular wave, they couldn't go.
They are pulling NIP out of the base. There's a giant creep wave going along that bottom lane. They're going to be on the Nexus turrets now. So Gambit effectively slowing NIP down.
NIP has to go back, otherwise they will lose the Nexus to those super minions, which gives Gambit freedom to just take a Baron out of this exchange.
There's going to be a ping ward there. NIP have to make the decision. They realize they can't fight for it. They have to let Gambit have this Baron. So great tactical positioning from Gambit overall.
Yeah, Alex hitting the 500 minion kill mark as well. Just an absurdly long game here, 55 minutes in. The stall in this game from Gambit was most impressive here. And NIP's really regretting that dive at this point.
Yeah, they've made a few decisions where they got those 2 team fights, got the 2 Barons, but just couldn't close it off. And that one attack, that one dive, after the Baron had run out, Alex Ich there, I believe that was a basic attack on a minion for 700, I'm pretty sure of it. It may well have been Genji, but it is going to be Mima diving in. Let's Bounce has been used, but simply put, he's getting melted before it even does anything. Maluno tries to go in, gets the Cataclysm down. Alex Ich, Bjergsen goes in, he just gets dropped. Darien is just the man up front. Deficio is trying to get away. Diamondprox gets on towards him. Darien picks up the kill. That is going to be a 4 for 0. It's going to be Gambit Gaming to take game 1 in this best of 3 quarterfinals in the playoffs. Who will be facing the Lemon Dogs so far?